Good morning, my friends. Today we are going to be installing the Alpha 1 sound system upgrade made by Bimmertech for our E92 M3. It's going to be a good one. This is the same system that we've installed on our E82 1M clone, and I think that it's going to be the perfect fit for the M3. Hop in the garage, let's get the install started. All right, you guys, so we are back here in the garage today with the E92 M3. The 135 will only be outside for a little bit while we do this install. Don't worry, it doesn't sleep out there. But before we get into the install of the Alpha 1 speakers by Bimmertech, I want to talk about a few reasons why I really like this system. If you guys saw, we went with the same system that was in my E82. However, on that build, we actually did the amp upgrade as well. Today, we're going to keep it real simple and just do the speakers. There's a few reasons why I really like this kit. One, it sounds really, really good. It's a very easy upgrade. This is a plug-and-play system for our BMWs, and Bimmertech has these products for a ton of BMWs. And not just sound system upgrades, they also do like remote starts, they do larger screen and CarPlay upgrades. But if you're trying to improve the sound in your BMW, this is a very easy way to do it, and the difference is pretty dramatic. So each sound system that you buy from Bimmertech is actually made specifically for your vehicle. The complete set actually consists of 4 mid-range speakers, and then you have 2 smaller tweeters that go in front, one on each side of the car, and lastly you have all of the bass that comes out of the subwoofers underneath the seats. So that's how it's set up in my E92 M3, and it's actually very similar to my E82 135. So overall the install is going to be pretty close to the same, and we're actually using the stock head unit in both of my cars. I actually prefer that. I just like the way that the OEM radio and CD player looks, but of course you can run this with an aftermarket head unit if you wanted to. The biggest reason why I really like this system is because it is so simple. It is literally plug and play. Pop out the old ones, pop in the new ones, and you're on your way to having a much better sound system in your car. I found that overall these speakers really just increased the clarity, the power, and the bass that was sort of lacking in the OEM systems in these cars. They certainly weren't bad, but they could definitely be improved. The Bimmertech products are built with premium materials and also provide 2-year warranty with professional support, which is also a huge plus. Lastly, at checkout, if you guys use the coupon code that I have linked down below, they're going to send you a free DIY essentials kit. This thing is actually pretty sick. Comes with a lot of the more common tools that you'll use when working on BMWs, which is just great to have. I actually have 2 of these now that I had one on my 135, and I just keep it in the trunk of the car in case I ever need it. Very convenient. So make sure you guys click the link down below if you're interested in buying a Bimmertech Alpha 1 sound system for your car. Use the coupon code if you're interested in getting yourself a free DIY essential kit. If you use the coupon code and you spend more than $500, they will send you one of these. But that is enough talking. Let's get into the install. All right, so the first portion of the install that we are going to work on is going to be in the door card. We'll be removing basically this mid-range speaker as well as the tweeter up here. In order to get these 2 speakers out, we will need to remove the door card. I know it seems like it's a bit intimidating to take all of this off. It's really not that hard. So the first thing we want to do is remove this little trim piece that goes along here. And you're going to want to take your trim tool and start from the back and work this way up front. There should be a bunch of tabs. And then there's going to be some Torx screws back here that we need to remove in order to pull this actual door card off from the door. So we'll start over on this side and literally just pry up. It'll start popping out like this. And the whole thing should just come out like that. All right, so once we have the trim off, there's gonna be 4 T20s along here. You'll see them inside just holding on the actual door card. We're gonna pop all of those out real quick. All right, so once we have all 4 of these out, it's actually pretty easy from there. We're just gonna literally be prying out from the door card and popping this off. There's a bunch of little plastic tabs on the back of this door card that are holding it to the actual door. So we'll just pry out. Just be careful, there are a few connections behind here for like the window controls, and then you also have the peg for the lock up here. So once we actually pull it off from the door card, we'll go ahead and disconnect everything from the back, and then we can effectively just remove all of this. There are gonna be plugs for the speakers as well, holding it to the door. I like to use a trim tool, but you guys can use whatever you want to get in there. I think the trim tool is probably just the easiest method. We'll start underneath here. and it should pop out pretty effortlessly. That should be all of them right there. And then what we're gonna be doing is pulling this off from the actual door itself. There we go. See it pop off just like that. So once you're behind the door card, you have a bunch of connections. To remove this piece right here for the door handle, you're just gonna pry up from the back. It should come right out. Let that hang. You're gonna have a wire on the bottom side for the shadow light. And then if you look back here on the far side, I already unplugged this one, but this mid-range speaker is actually bridging power to the tweeter right here as well. So what we'll do is just unplug this plug from the mid-range speaker, and then there's another little plug right here for the actual LED lights that are inside on the trim, the ambient lighting. Go ahead and pull that one out. And then you have one last plug right under here that's for your window controls and your mirror controls. So now your door card should be completely free from the door. All right, so now that we have the door card out, we're gonna go ahead and remove our mid-range speaker right here. And it is a T20 for the 3 screws. And then your factory mid-range speaker should pop right out. All right, so here is the factory mid-range speaker, and here is the new Alpha 1 Bimmertech speaker. One thing that you actually want to pay attention to when you're installing these is the actual height difference in the two speakers. If we just took our Alpha 1 Bimmertech mid-range speaker and threw it into the door, it would hit the inside and it just wouldn't fit correctly. So the solution to that is Bimmertech actually supplies us with hardware, and the hardware has a spacer kit within it. So you'll be using these little plastic spacers to actually raise up the speaker itself from the door card. And it's pretty easy and self-explanatory as to how it works. You throw the little spacer underneath the speaker, and then you throw the speaker onto the door card, and of course, put your hardware into the speaker. They do supply new screws as well to use with the new setup. So let's go ahead and throw those in now. One thing I do want to mention is I actually don't use the electric tool for screwing the screws back in. I like to do that by hand because this is plastic, so you don't want to over tighten it. Could potentially crack the plastic. And you can just set these directly onto the door card. There's like a little groove for them to sit into, which makes it super easy. And then we'll go ahead and throw our speaker on. Bimmertech has kept the hardware the same size, so T20 all the way around makes things even easier. All right, so next we gotta remove this guy. This actually is where our tweeter is located. And the way to get this off is we're just gonna pull up and back, and that should allow us to remove this piece. There we go. There we go. This little guy did not want to come out. This top one right here. That in there. So just to give you an idea of what you're dealing with, you've got this clip right here and this clip right here. They're locked in like this. You're gonna pull up, back, and out. And then just be careful because you do have obviously your cable still here, but we will be removing all of that just like this. So for the actual tweeter here, you're gonna have this foam insert. You can just pry up on it. You should be able to pull all of this out like this, and then you'll see your actual tweeter inside of here. And we're just gonna use a pick tool, compress these clips on the side, and pull the actual tweeter out. There we go. Pops right out. Now here is the new tweeter from Bimmertech, the Alpha 1. Comes with all the wiring harness and everything already connected. Same exact plug. Like I said before, this is plug and play, so it makes it easy. So we'll go ahead and throw the new tweeter in. There is a little notch on the top of it, which tells you where you need to line it up with the housing, in case you forget. Simple as that. Now we can go ahead and throw our foam back on. And we're good. So working our way backwards here, we'll just go ahead and throw the tweeter in first, and then we will work on the actual door card piece. So I'm gonna wrap this wire through here, because that's how the factory one was. And then you do have this little lip piece here on the housing that you wanna wrap into the actual window. So the back will go in first, and then the top will go in last, and then the bottom of the tweeter will plug right back into our mid-range speaker. Let's go ahead and throw that in. You'll also notice that in the Bimmertech kit, you're gonna have these little wiring adapters. So these are for the actual speakers in order to make them plug and play for different models. So this guy will just plug directly into our Bimmertech speaker, and then this will go to the wire that's coming out of the door. All right, so when you are reinstalling the door card, you obviously just wanna be cognizant of everything that needs to plug back in, but just make sure that everything is situated correctly. And remember, your harness is going to plug in to the wire that's coming out of the car. and then your new tweeter wire is going to plug directly back into your mid-range speaker. So just take your time and sort of work backwards. All right, now we can throw back in the hardware for the door. Now we can just throw back on our trim. All right, so the door is officially complete. We've upgraded the mid speaker in the door and of course the tweeter. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the other side off of camera. It's the exact same process, just the other side. And then we'll hop back in the car, disconnect the battery, and actually handle the subwoofers that are underneath the seats. Let's get into it. Bam, good to go. Got the new tweeter in there. Got the new mid in there. And now we're gonna work on the subs underneath the seats. So what you're gonna wanna do when you're removing these seats is disconnect the battery before you actually remove the seat, because we do have to unplug the airbag connection that connects to the seat, and if we don't unplug the battery first, it's going to throw an airbag fault code. So the way that I like to do this is go ahead and move the seat around front and back until you remove all of the Torx bolts that hold in the seat. So you remove the front two, and then move the seat all the way up, remove the back two. Same thing for the other side, and then go ahead and disconnect your battery, and then you can unplug the seat and pull it out. Once we remove the seats, we'll have access to the subs. All right, so all of the seat bolts are out. I've also disconnected the negative terminal on the battery. We're gonna go ahead and pull the seat out. So just be careful when maneuvering the seat out. You obviously don't want the bottom of the seat to scrape your side skirts or anything like that. I like to go ahead and tilt the seat backwards, unplug the airbag, and then pull the seat out. All right, these are not light. Brace yourself. All right, so this is also gonna be a great time to vacuum, obviously, with all of the grossness that's underneath your seats. So we'll hit that afterwards. We're gonna have a couple of Phillips head screws. Take those out. All right, so looking right around the speaker, you're gonna find a few T20s that go around the circumference of the speaker. We're gonna remove those, and that will allow us to remove the actual speaker from the housing. And then there's also a plug. It's hard to see. There's also a plug right on this side. Undo that, and we should be able to pull out the entire speaker. All right, so if we compare the two, factory, Alpha 1, almost identical. Obviously this looks a lot nicer, probably gonna sound a lot better. You'll see how they both have the factory plugs right here. So that makes it real easy. Same way we took it out, same way we're putting it in. And there we go, sub is in. Any of the stains, I've always liked to use Sonax and then just like a foam pad to get out any of the like old coffee stains and griminess. This stuff works really well. This will also help loosen up some of the dirt before we hit it with a vacuum again. That is always just a great feeling. Super clean now. And I cleaned out the other side and installed everything on that side, so we're good. We got the speaker in there, we're good to go. So now we're gonna move on to the rear speakers. All right, so we have finished the front and it is now officially time to work out the rear. And I apologize for the view. I know it's not the best, but the only way that I can get the camera in here and show you guys everything. So you got a trim piece right along here. You're gonna pull that off, just like that. You'll have two T20s, one over here. Then you're gonna have this lower sill piece right here. We're just gonna pop out the end of it. One of the tabs, not all of it. We can just pop out one and get enough access. And then you'll have your door seal, which will pry up just like that, up to there. And then we'll go ahead and lift up the seat. Get that out of the way. Here. And so obviously the last mid-range speaker is right here, and so we want to pull this out. There's clips that run along here, and then it also tabs into here, and then you have clips along the side. But for the most part, you just pull and the whole thing will pop right out like that, and then you can lift up and maneuver it out. be careful, there are some plugs on the back of this that you need to unplug. One is gonna go to your speaker, you'll see it, and then one goes to a little module, and then one goes to the LED strip on the back. So you'll have 3 that you need to unplug. And then once you get all those unplugged, you just pull the whole thing out. All right, so at this point, pretty self-explanatory. You're gonna have one more plug in the back of the speaker, right there. Exact same as the door, the front door. Old speaker comes out. New speaker and adapter goes in. The new location for the plugs is now up, which is a little bit tight in here. So what I like to do is plug this side in first. The adapter is going into the car, just like that. And then plug this guy in as well. That way it's super easy and I can just go ahead and slide everything in. So remember, we gotta put the washers in. The same deal for the back as it is the front. And we're good. Okay, so that is all the speakers. I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the rear section of the car. Pretty easy. Put the seats back in. Once we plug the airbag connections back into the seats, we can go ahead and reconnect the battery, tighten down on the seats, and we'll be good. Okay, the final test. How does it actually sound? And this is my fresh reaction. I have not listened to any music or anything with the new speakers. I wanted to wait and get my genuine reaction with you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the volume up. The equalizer is flat, just left all that normal so we can just let the speakers do their thing. Bass is already insane. The bass is like the first thing you notice, man. The bass is so much better. Woo!
Look, wasn't no way, I made a way. Called my lane, I paved the way. Drew it up nice, dude. I made the play. What a good day to get paid today.
It's pretty crazy, man. Like the difference is pretty dramatic. I know that when it comes to, you know, sound and music and speakers, it's tough to sort of convey that through the video and through the camera. It's never gonna pick it up the way that I hear it in the car, but this is really the exact same reaction that I had in my E82 when I did the full speaker upgrade. It is a huge difference. The clarity, the depth, the bass, everything that you get out of these speakers is just phenomenal, and the fact that it's plug and play is awesome. Yeah. It's nice, man. It is nice. Like, it makes the car sound like it has like a 10 in the back, like a 10-inch woofer in the back, or like 2 10s or something. It just goes from having like a relatively flat sounding system to a system that has so much more dynamic to it. And also you got to remember, we didn't upgrade the amp. This is just purely the speakers. So if we upgraded the amp as well, it could be even better. And a great thing about these packages is, like, if you just wanted to do the front speakers, you could do those. If you just wanted to do the front tweeters, you could do those. Or the rear, whatever you wanted to do. You don't have to buy the whole kit. You can just upgrade the parts that you want to upgrade. Let's say one of your builds primarily sees the track, but you do like to drive it around every now and then on the streets, and you want to have some music. If you had the rear completely gutted, you could just go ahead and do like the fronts, you know what I mean? So you don't have to completely go all in, full gas, and get all of the speakers. You can just do the parts that you want to upgrade, which I think is just a great option with this kit. Man, that is awesome. So easy to install too, which is what I love the most about it. That entire installation to do the entire car was like 2 hours, so really not that bad, and that's with filming. So there you guys go, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Second time I've installed this kit on a car, and I just love it. It gets easier and easier every time to install it, and it just sounds so good. I'll have that code in the description to get you guys a free DIY essentials kit if you spend over $500, as well as links to Bimmertech products. Make sure you guys check them out. They make a whole bunch of stuff for BMWs, some really, really cool products. Make sure you guys give them a look. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.